Heimerdinger is one of the weirdest champions in League. Playing against him feels like trying to gank a brick wall using your face, but then you try and play him yourself, and it's like being in your science exams all over again. I found a player who has reached Challenger on EU West with a crazy support Heimerdinger playstyle, with the weirdest level 1 strategy I've ever seen, and some unexpected mid-game plans that make this playstyle really fun to play. Just like Heimerdinger, I have some advanced technology to show you. This video is sponsored by Buff. You're in a ranked game, your Yasuo mid is 0-10, ready to power spike and carry. Oh wait, you lost. But you don't feel bad after the game, because you were using Buff, so you earn some points towards a reward. Buff has partnered with Overwolf, one of the most reputable gaming app providers, to create a program that runs in the background on your PC, and tracks your in-game stats and achievements to give you points. These points can be used to redeem rewards like RP credit, game keys, hardware, and more. It works with lots of popular titles including League of Legends, but maybe one day you want a break to play a real game, and can take Buff with you. It's so easy to use and set up, and you might as well get something out of having your solo queue games inted. Buff uses a very small amount of your PC resources, so you won't even feel its impact, and can still carry your team to that sweet plus 11 LP Daddy Riot has blessed you with. It doesn't cost anything, and actually makes the game more fun, because you always have an extra reward after your game. Join Buff for free using the link in the description below. Back to our Heimerdinger. His name is Just an Engineer, and his journey to Challenger started in Season 2. He started playing the game, playing normal games, and specialising in old one-shot spear niddly. In Season 3 he got into Ranked, moving to bot lane, and immediately shooting up to Platinum, right on the border of Diamond, after duo queuing with a friend. Season 4 they duoed bot lane together to Diamond for the first time, but could not climb above low Diamond. He tried all the AD carries he could think of, but it wasn't working, so in Season 5 he decided to try and invent a new pick. At the time Sejuani was sitting at around a 1-2% pick rate, so he thought, unpopular champion, let me try and hit a high rank with it, and impress everyone. So he began to practice. 50 wins later, he hit a new Diamond peak, and then coincidentally, pro players started to pick her. As a big fan of rare picks, he then quickly became bored of what was now one of the best junglers in the game, so he decided to move on to a new pick. Season 6 and 7 he pinballed around trying new stuff, but never created a useful playstyle, still stuck in Diamond. Season 8, Engineer started to watch some Twitch streams, and discovered Heimerdinger, a Challenger level Heimerdinger player. So he watched for a while, felt inspired, and took it straight to Ranked, where he actually started to do well, but he did not see any real success until Season 9. At the start of the season, the support items were changed. Player objects like Shaco Box or Heimerdinger turrets could now hit enemies and give you gold. Loving the idea of getting free gold, he started to theorycraft Heimerdinger Support with a goal of Diamond with this new pick. He started playing it and hit Diamond very fast, so he just queued up again, winning over and over again. He hit Master and then Grandmaster, improving all the way. Season 10 he kept practicing with a goal of Challenger, getting close a couple of times but never making it. But in Season 11, the climb gets crazy. The first couple of months, nothing happens. He's too busy to play League. In March, he gets back into Ranked, of course choosing his classic Heimerdinger Support. 1 week goes past, he's back to Master. A couple more weeks, he hits Grandmaster. And as I was making this video, this week he hit Challenger for the first time ever. Here is every single tip he learned and exactly how he made it to Challenger with this pick. I mentioned his weird level 1 strategy earlier. He had a strange idea of how to immediately get an advantage in a game, right away. Engineer purchases his support item, and no potions. He pings his team to follow him to mid, and sit in the side bush. He then walks straight into the enemy tower. No, he's not inting, there is a reason for it. Placing a turret in range of the tower, it instantly auto-attacks, earning Heimer 20 gold. Your support item gives you gold whenever you hit a tower. His turret dies in 1 hit, so he places another, while auto-attacking tower himself, totaling 60 gold with these 3 hits. With this bonus gold, he now has enough to base, and buy a refillable potion. After doing some BM in all chat about how mid tower is almost dead, he then starts the game with a small but useful advantage. The only drawback, you need your team to be near you to earn this gold. If his team doesn't listen, which to be fair happens a lot in solo queue, unless you happen to know how to communicate with animals, then he instead places 1 turret in Tribush to counter an invade, as well as this turret in bot lane, which gives vision and can provide free poke and bush control later in the lane. The earlier you set up a turret, the earlier you start producing a new one. He gives his jungler a single turret leash and then heads to lane. As Heimerdinger, your turrets in lane provide a good amount of control and safety for your team. He has a few very specific spots that he places towers down to ensure he's not trolling his AD carry. He does not want to interfere with the wave, because AD carry's brains are small enough already, so turret shots will just confuse them. He keeps them close to the walls, meaning they're out of minion range, but can still help with the fight. They can also be used to hide behind to dodge a skill shot, as well as giving vision and being hard for the enemies to clear. They're like really cheap walls rewards that give you gold every time an enemy touches them. He never puts them in the path of minions, he only cares about creating space for his AD carry. Immediately, Heimerdinger auto-attacks the wave, pushing for a level 2 advantage. Level 2, if he has a big wave, he can take E and look for a catch. There is one very simple, very OP combo that is actually the only thing you need to play Heimerdinger. Place one turret in a bush, make sure you have a second ready, throw your E stun, and then turret again in front of you while the E stun is in the air. There is no counter to this play. If enemies are hit by the stun, they'll take double charged up hits from your turrets, and stun damage, which can lead to a kill. If enemies try to throw a hook or a stun at you, the turret you just placed will block it for you. If you don't have a big wave and the enemies are staying far back, he instead takes W to start to poke them down. At level 3, you'll have all your spells. You can keep looking for the same combo. The simple things he focuses on in lane: hitting your E is a one fight, spacing smartly when the wave is pushed up, and controlling vision so you can see where the enemy jungler is. Engineer has one super important tip for laning, and that is to always have one turret saved up in case you need it in an emergency. Sure, you could spam them off cooldown and get some extra poke and damage in, but then what happens if you have none and a fight starts? Heimerdinger is useless, so by saving one at all points, he is always ready to contribute to a fight, and not only that, carry the fight. That's not the only reason you should save one either. Heimer turret is one of the fastest units to place, which means it's very easy to block skill shots with. Playing against a Thresh, currently one of the best supports in the game, just wait for his hook animation and press Q in front of you. And now he cannot win lane because of this funny looking fluffy science man blocking all of his hooks. Heimerdinger also gets bonus movement speed while near towers, so Engineer uses this in lane to dodge skill shots and set up poke. Being efficient with turret placement can keep you sped up constantly in lane, and always able to just run away from a gank. Since we're talking about turrets, I fully believe that about 5 people in the world know how Heimerdinger turret charge works, so let's get the challenger level explanation from Engineer. Heimer turrets gain charge when you hit any spell. When the bar is full, the big damage laser shoots. If you want a lot of damage, it's important to get this to happen as often as possible. When hitting rockets, the bar loads 1/5 of its charge per rocket hit, so if you hit all 5 rockets on a champion, the laser goes off. When you hit E, the laser instantly charges and shoots. So a dream burst combo, just like before. Place one turret down, then throw E and place a second turret. This will cause both turrets to fully charge, doing a lot of burst damage. During this, Engineer uses the stun time to reposition and hit a full W rocket. Maybe he needs to move out of some minions or juke a skill shot. If all of these rockets hit, the turrets charge fully again, shooting the laser again for even more damage. Ignite the enemy and finish them off with auto attacks, and a final turret if you need it. The rest of laning is just repeating this, looking for an E stun and trying to get a kill. At this time, Heimer might also be the only support who can solo Dragon. Just put 3 turrets down, they can tank 1 hit each if needed, then tank it yourself while auto attacking. You don't even need to use ultimate. And level 6, this is weirdly maybe the strongest point for any support in the game. From here, Heimer can actually one-shot any squishy champion with his combo, along with an ultimate W. This combo and the ultimate goes really well together. Engineer likes to sweep a bush and wait for the enemy AD carry. If they walk up, he turrets and throws a stun, which keeps them fully locked in place to land every single ultimate rocket, which is just enough damage to be an unstoppable kill combo. But it isn't just in lane. Engineer now starts to invade the enemy jungle. Whenever he has ultimate for the rest of the game, he's going to wait in a bush in the enemy jungle, sweeping it and just chilling, waiting for an enemy to walk by. He will go for anyone with this combo, as it is very hard for enemies to answer, even if they don't get one shot. Worst case, you're left with a low HP enemy and 3 towers on top of you, so they will still have to run away, meaning you are safe to leave if you need. If he is ahead, Engineer thinks the game is over. Enemies cannot walk to their camps. They cannot ever get to a dragon. Your goal as a support is to push up vision and get control of the enemy zones anyway, so why not pick up some kills at the same time? To quote Engineer, if you invade and get a kill, it is also important to flash emotes and dance on their graves. This is not a fun playstyle to play against, so make the enemies tilt. Don't give them an inch of their jungle and kill them over and over again. Look at this play for example. Heimer roams mid at level 7, gets a kill. After going back to bot lane for a bit, he pushes wave and invades the enemy jungle, waiting for the squishy immobile Karthus, surprising him for a free kill. But he's not done. Straight back to mid, another kill for Heimer. If you do this in a game, mid lane is going AFK, and the jungler is so annoyed at his bot lane for letting it happen, you probably just win. At 20 minutes, the game becomes very weird when Heimerdinger is in the game. Baron spawns. If you ever see the enemy's out of position bot lane, chasing a split pusher, or just farming in the wrong place, Heimer can put 3 turrets down and an ult turret and destroy Baron with your team. Heimerdinger and an AD carry might be the fastest Baron in the game, even at 20 minutes. With your main turret tanking, you can even duo a Baron, or if you're very brave and fed, you could try and solo it, but this doesn't seem quite as safe. If you ever kill a Baron, do not fight afterwards. You do not have any turrets, you don't have ultimate, you're just a tiny little yordle with spanners to throw. That's no use to anyone. Ping your team to back and get out. Heimer can also help with Baron or Dragon without even being in the pit. This is super useful when you want to stay out of danger. He can just place his turrets over the wall, so he is still providing thousands of damage without putting himself in any danger. In teamfights, Heimerdinger is versatile. He can choose multiple ways to play the fight, so he can be useful in lots of situations and is very rewarding to learn. For example, if you need to burst an enemy, like a fed enemy AD carry, choose ultimate W for lots of rockets and lots of damage. If the enemies are engaging on your team or diving, ultimate turret is great to punish them for it, and it's very easy to land your other skill shots afterwards to do loads of lasers. If you alt Q turret, always auto attack your priority target afterwards, so that the turret knows who to hit, otherwise it will always just pick randomly, and this can lose you a fight. But in most cases, Engineer likes using ultimate E, the grenade. This gives Heimerdinger stun a huge radius and length, which goes out very fast to catch enemies off guard. No one expects the range extension. This can be an engage, try and land it on as many squishies as possible, or it can be a re-engage. Engineer recommends being very patient with your ultimate. Heimerdinger without it is nowhere near as good of a champion. In fact, you could even say he's terrible at fighting without it. So if you throw an ult grenade at nothing, you're left hoping enemies all just run into your towers. Engineer says your job in the fight should be making space for your carries, whether this is by placing turrets, which enemies can't just run through without dying, or by throwing an ult grenade, which lets your carries move forwards. Of course, Engineer doesn't always get support, so he's actually very good at Heimer AD carry as well. The playstyle is very similar, and you can learn both at the same time to give you two off-meta picks that will always confuse enemies. Level 1, use your turrets early in lane to prepare them. It lets you get a refresh on the others, so then you can keep spamming them. Laning is very similar, but you also put towers in the wave to help you CS and push it. Still save one tower for safety or a fight, still looking for those E combos, but you need to focus more on CSing and wave management. You can still do Dragon with your towers, and the rest of the game is very similar, you just have a lot more damage. The best AD carry to go with Heimerdinger is Jhin. Heimerdinger W plus Jhin W is a dream combo. Even just one of your rockets tagging an enemy can lead to a stun, and then a restun with your Heimerdinger E into a kill. Jinx, Tristana and Senna are all great too. Heimerdinger turrets give them lots of space to do what they need to do. Fasting Senna is something that he plays with a lot as well. Her stun and your stun work perfectly together. He takes Flash Ignite most of the time, take Exhaust against Tristana, because otherwise she can just jump on your face and kill you with no way to outplay her. Every game he makes sure Hecarim or Udyr are banned, since he believes they are still the #1 junglers and are hard for any other champion to deal with. It has been 4 months. If you aren't banning these champions every game, you are doing something wrong by now. His Heimerdinger support build starts with Spell Thieves. Sorcerer shoes first for damage. Movement speed is great on Heimerdinger, so he gets this first. Ludens he buys versus squishy enemies. This is his high burst build. Or he builds Leandries if he's against some tanks. This is more of a poke build. Ludens is his favourite, he does it more often. The whole playstyle is based on burst damage and catching enemies, though Ludens fits it very well. The other items depend on enemies. If they have assassins or dive champions on the other team, you're buying a Zhonya's. Cosmic Drive is good for damage and movement speed. If the enemy team has magic resist, Void Staff is really good. He thinks this is a very underrated item at the moment. If enemies have healing, then Oblivion Orb is good. If he's ahead or he's the only AP champion on his team, then he'll get Rabadons for just the extra damage. There's one even more important item that he is constantly buying, and that is Control Wards. He thinks that's the most important thing to buy all the time. He spends a lot of his gold on it. For AD carry Heimer, or if you're playing with a fasting Senna, you start Doran's Ring, and then always go Leandries into Zhonya's, Rabadons, and Void Staff. Here are the support runes he takes, lots of poke with Comet, and here are the AD carry runes he goes for. I'm testing this right now on my Twitch. I'm doing a Heimerdinger cosplay, so come by and see it. We might actually play some games with the Heimerdinger, so you can see some Challenger gameplay as well. Thanks again to Buff for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. New video every Friday, so make sure you subscribe so you don't ever miss it.